Hi everyone. So today's blog post is going to be a little bit different. It's about an item that I love to wear, the kimono jacket. It's a versatile little piece if you just want to chuck on something over the top of a singlet and some jeans. You're pretty much ready to walk out the door. The trend of kimono jackets have reduced quite a lot in Western Australia. I've struggled to find any that I really like, so I decided to learn how to make my own in fabrics that I like. So this is just a basic how-to guide, and be creative with what I'm showing you today. Enjoy. So basically the materials that you're going to need for this project is fabric. I grabbed 2 meters of this fabric from Spotlight. It was on special for $3 a meter. A t-shirt, nothing too fitted, just something to give you a guide for when you're doing your sleeves on your kimono jacket. I also grabbed some beautiful, like a pinky coloured thread. Hopefully it'll go with the fabric. There were so many different colours to choose from, but I didn't want to hem with a colour that stood out too much. A good pair of cutting scissors. Don't cut paper with these. Look after your dressmaking scissors. And of course, a sewing machine. Oh yeah, that is my pride and joy right there. So they're the things that you'll need, pretty basic. Okay, so your first step is get your fabric and fold it in half so that the pattern is on the inside and the underside of the pattern is exposed. I hope that made sense. I'm really sorry. I don't know technical terms when it comes to sewing. I'm self-taught. So once you've found where the 2 points meet, you'll have your fabric in half, and then you can lay that down flat on some bench space. I'm using my kitchen. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is find the halfway point down the center of your fabric. Let's try and zoom out enough there, I'm quite short. So once you've found your center, just fold your fabric in half and you'll know where your center is. I've got mine scored a little bit there, just to, if you're not quite sure, just iron that down so you've got a bit of a crease to work from. So the next part is to measure your arms. I'm pretty slack when it comes to DIYing, but for the purpose of this tutorial, they say to measure in 5 inches, which I think is about 127 centimeters, don't quote me, from the shirt. So that'll give you, and don't worry about the numbers on this ruler, I've just got it sitting here because I don't really worry about the numbers either. So what you do is you measure in, and then it's 3 inches down from the base of the sleeve, and that'll be the line that you cut. So I've just decided I'm just going to do it a little bit low from the armpit and cut along there. Okay, so now for the cutting. Sorry, please excuse the dog. And you can always use a bit of chalk when marking out your cut lines and that. I generally do this by sight, which isn't always working to my advantage, but I guess it's just what I'm used to now and a bit how I roll when it comes to my DIY projects. And the first time I tried this, I used a chiffon, which I found absolutely awful to work with. So it's about finding the materials that work for you. Right, so you should have something that looks like that. And then you basically do the exact same thing on the other side. Okay, so you should be left with something looking like that. Now the next step is to find your center, and then on just the top layer of fabric, so leave the bottom layer, but on the top layer, cut all the way up to the top, and then that'll give you your kimono opening. It's really simple, and if you do muck up, I kind of find that you can hide a lot of errors when you're doing your sewing, so you can sort of edit as you go along. So I'm just going to make the cut down the center. And like I said, I'm not a dressmaker by any stretch of the imagination. There are some really useful tutorials on how to do this, and I've used them as a bit of a guide, and I will link a few of those tutorials that I've used on this blog, because, you know, if you want to do it exactly how people have measured it, then I totally understand, because yeah. So there you go, that's the beginning of doing your kimono. As you can see, it's starting to take shape. So your next step is to start hemming and sewing. So my first kimono jacket, I did all the seams, so you sew down here and through here, and the same on the other side. But what I found is when it came to hemming the sleeves, to hide any mistakes I made, I found it quite difficult to sew something that had already been stitched and was sort of fixed. So I think with this one, what I might do is just sew through here, then leave that open, hem my edge, and then do my stitch in here. So I probably come in about 1 centimetre in as I'm doing my stitch, just so I can hide my dodgy cutting, as you can see here, and then the other little faults that have come up. So sometimes you'll get people who cut the material for you and they don't cut it very straight. I had that with the chiffon, and I understand completely because that material was really difficult to work. So this is sort of like one of those silky feel dressing gown materials. So I'm hoping that this might be a little bit more easier to work with. Alrighty, so here is probably one of my least favourite parts of doing DIY fashion, sewing. I've never been very good at it, so here's for hoping for the best. Alrighty, so I've done this beginning stitch. I'm just reversing it over now, and then there we go. Now I should be ready for lift off. So far I've only sewn one sleeve, so far. So basically I hemmed it. I don't know if you can see that very well. And I stitched this, the sleeve and also the body all stitched. The other side I haven't sewn yet, but I just wanted to show you what it would look like. Almost finished, if I could find the other arm hole. Okay, here we go. So that's that sleeve completed. And then this is the other side. So still need to stitch that. But in saying that, you don't have to hem the sleeve. This is just a personal preference because no one's actually going to notice any of the unfinished lines. Sometimes it does look a lot nicer when it is unfinished. So that's so far, and I'm debating as to whether I hem the base or not, but that all depends on how it looks once I've done the sleeves. But yeah, this is so far. As you can see, it is quite easy and they come together quite well, so yeah. So here it is, big reveal of the kimono. Awesome and flowy and made by me. So I hope you enjoyed this vlog, and I look forward to seeing some DIY kimonos being shared with the rest of the group. Bye.